In this video, we're gonna revisit some of those Fortnite weapons that just for one reason or another don't really make any sense. They just have really crazy gimmicks or are just downright weird, and if you ask me to explain how these weapons work, well, for the majority of them, I wouldn't be able to tell you. If you go on to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave it a like, subscribe, as we are pushing for 100,000 subscribers, and be sure to use code TYFRYZ in the Fortnite item shop with your next purchase. But let's get into this one. It's gonna be a fun one. Right away, we've got to have a conversation about the Boom Heavy Sniper Rifle. Of course, it feels a little bit cheesy to throw an exotic weapon on this list. You know, exotics are meant to be weird and, in all honesty, like really kooky kind of weapons. But still, I mean, how are we having a sniper that is shooting clinger grenades out of it? It just really does not make any sense whatsoever. And really, it doesn't matter if it makes sense or not, because this weapon absolutely sucks. I mean, it's just like, why would you ever use this weapon? I guess you get the explosive damage from the clingers, but just every other aspect of it doesn't matter. Just take a regular sniper. If I remember correctly, it does 10 damage on impact and then 75 explosive damage for a total of 85, which is just not good. And yeah, I think I can speak for the majority of us. We are leaving this weapon in 2024, you know, see ya, buddy. But yeah, a sniper that shoots essentially Semtex grenades out of it, that is absolutely going to qualify to make it on this list. Next, let's time travel to Chapter 2, Season 7 and talk about the Inflatable. And spoiler alert, this will not be the last Chapter 2, Season 7 weapon on this list, and that shouldn't be a surprise. I actually can't even say this is a weapon. It's not. It is a mobility item, and you literally turn into a cow. You know, to be quite honest with you, it shouldn't be a surprise that there are Chapter 2, Season 7 items and weapons on this list. I mean, that whole season was basically themed around being weird and aliens, space. But I mean, what is this? You turn into a cow that just bounces around the map, and it's actually really, really good. The Inflatable is a great mobility item, and I'm actually a really big fan of it. But yeah, it's on this list for, well, obvious reasons. But anyways, guys, let's go to Season 8 and talk about the Boombo. And, you know, I guess you could include the mythic version, TNT's Boombo, but this is a bow that shoots an explosive tipped arrow that also consumes shotgun shells. I don't really get what's going on here. Logically, there is no sense to make of it. You're just shooting an explosive shotgun shell out of a bow. But, you know, all weirdness aside, what a weapon the Boombo is. In my opinion, it's one of the best one-season wonders of all time. It came out in Season 8, and it has not been back to the game since. Of course, I'm talking about its base legendary version. The mythic version has been back countless times, but 115 damage on a direct shot. I mean, is this the best bow in Fortnite history? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section down below, because I think it might be. Even if you don't direct impact them, the splash damage does 100 damage on its own, so you can basically treat it like an RPG. And the best part about it is you shoot shotgun shells, and we know you always have an abundance of shotgun shells. You're never gonna have to worry about that ammo. And yeah, I mean, I guess I presume they decided to make it shoot shotgun shells because they didn't want to introduce the arrow type ammunition for only one weapon, which, you know, actually really makes a lot of sense. So they had to kind of get creative with it, and yeah, creative they did. All I'm gonna say is the Boombo is an incredible Fortnite weapon. And actually, very similarly to the Boombo, another weapon that uses a weird type of ammunition, it is the Excalibur Rifle from Chapter 4. And this is a weapon that shoots an explosive sword that also just uses your shotgun shells. That also is a revolver, kind of? I mean, seriously, there is absolutely nothing about this weapon that makes any type of sense. And look, I gotta be honest with you guys, this is not my favorite weapon. I think the Excalibur Rifle is incredibly underwhelming. That projectile just seems to travel so slow through the air. It has some serious drop on it, and in the purple and legendary versions, you're only looking at 55 and 65 damage respectively, of course, for a direct impact shot. Now, obviously, you get the explosive damage, but again, this is another one-season wonder, a weapon that was only introduced in Chapter 4, Season 1, left in for that season, and hasn't come back since. So I wonder if we will ever see the Excalibur Rifle again. If I was a betting man, I would say no, we won't. I guess this weapon does kind of bring up a good point, though. Like, what ammo would the Excalibur Rifle use if it weren't to use shotgun shells? I don't really know. So maybe the devs at Epic Games are like, you know, when we don't know what ammunition to give it, we're just gonna make it use shotgun shells, and then that'll work. What an interesting weapon. And you know what? Since we are on the topic of one-season wonders, let's talk about the Unstable Bow from Chapter 2, Season 6. And this is a bow that has the ability to change to multiple different bows, just totally randomly. It either turns into the Primal Flame Bow, the Primal Stink Bow, the Mechanical Explosive Bow, or the Mechanical Shockwave Bow, just randomly. Every single shot, it will switch weapons. It literally has the ability to shapeshift into any of those 4 bows I just named. Again, you know, it is an exotic weapon. It's meant to be weird, but I think my main problem with this weapon is just, it's either really good or really bad depending on what arrow you get. You know, if you get a Mechanical Shockwave Bow, this thing is incredible, but if you get, you know, maybe a Primal Stink Bow, I would argue not so much. For the majority of weapons in Chapter 2, Season 6, I would argue it was really all around pretty boring and lackluster, but the Unstable Inflatable bow really did shake things up. And unless we see another season where bows are, you know, the main style of weapon, there's a good shot you'll never be able to use this weapon again. But all right, I'm going to talk about the final exotic weapon on this list. No more exotics after this. It is the burst quad launcher. Look, there are very clearly 4 holes for the rockets to come out of. You see it with the regular design of the quad launcher. There are 4 rockets that can be shot out of this weapon. But somehow the burst quad launcher just says, screw this, I'm going to shoot 2 rockets out of each barrel on this weapon. And it's going to shoot like a burst fire. I mean, where is the logic here? You know, I guess it's a goofy game. You don't really need any logic. And that's basically the moral of this video. These weird weapons are super fun to use and they don't really have to make sense. But I mean, what is even going on here? I think the thing that makes the burst quad launcher so weird is just the fact that the regular quad launcher functions like a normal rocket launcher and how that style of weapon does, and then you see that and compare it to the burst quad launcher, which just shoots a burst of rockets out of every single barrel. It's just crazy. Funny enough, I actually think it's significantly better than the quad launcher for its kind of weird quirk, because you still are only using 4 rockets, but you're shooting 8. That's also what makes it so weird, and just, you know, everything about this weapon is nonsensical, but it actually makes it better than the regular quad launcher. All right, and I mentioned early in this video, we would be having multiple Chapter 2 Season 7 weapons on this list, and here is the final one. It is the Grabatron. This weapon is very clearly from the Alien season, you know, straight off of a UFO. You can use this weapon to pick up literally any object in Fortnite, no matter how heavy it is. It can be a rock or it can be, you know, a wood chair, and just throw it wherever you want. Funny enough, this is actually one of the more tame weapons on this list, I would argue, somehow, but it is actually the worst weapon on this list. The Grabatron is horrible, and it is very clearly meant to be a gimmicky Fortnite weapon. It's not meant to be good. It's not meant to be something that, you know, you're gonna take over your shotgun, for example. You know, absolutely no way, but it's very funny. This is a weapon that would only work in Chapter 2 Season 7, and for that reason, I really can't see it coming back unless we get another, you know, space or alien themed season, which in my opinion is pretty unlikely. While yes, the weapon sucks, it is absolutely a fun time to use. All right, and this is a weapon that really inspired me to make this video all the way in Chapter 3 Season 4. That is the explosive Goo Gun. I mean, is there any explanation needed here for why this weapon is so weird? I mean, let's just read the description of this weapon. Fires an adhesive fluid-like substance which explodes after a short amount of time. In terms of weird Fortnite weapons that are just so far out there, it's even like beyond my explanation for trying to logically make an argument for them. This has to be number 1. And funny enough, it's blatantly overpowered. It has one of the highest DPSs for any weapon in Fortnite history at 320. It totally like blinds your vision if you get stuck with this. You can shoot it like 50, 100 meters. You have a good amount of ammo. I believe it was 200. Obviously, the gameplay is going to speak for itself. If you did not get to play with this weapon, you should be happy, because it was so overpowered when it was in the game. Everybody was carrying a Goo Gun, and as long as you had a high ground on someone, you could just rain the goo all down on them. They didn't stand a chance. It was so spammy, did so much damage against structures. Interestingly, you know, it's an explosive weapon, so this shouldn't really surprise anybody, but this weapon cannot headshot anybody. And if you didn't know, actually, the weapon fires in 5-round bursts, but since it's so quick, it just looks like one long stream of goo. You know what? Why don't we just cause chaos in Fortnite? And I'm gonna call for the devs, please bring back the explosive Goo Gun in Fortnite. That would be absolutely incredible. But for my final selection of this video, we are going to be going to Chapter 5 Season 3, and that's going to be the tow hook cannon. And I guess this weapon kind of makes sense. I mean, you just kind of shoot it on a vehicle and it sticks on there. Now, how much sense does that make? Really not much, but I do see the vision here. I do see the idea, especially in a season like Chapter 5 Season 3. Vehicles are everywhere. Vehicles are dominating the play space. And so, you know, they wanted to add a weapon that I guess would not really counter cars, but help you follow people who are in cars. But why does it use heavy bullets? Like, does anyone know why it uses heavy bullets? Is it trying to be a sniper rifle? I mean, sometimes it's got sniper range. I mean, it does 100 damage to players, but people were also treating this like a pump shotgun. I vividly remember people using this thing at close range. It's insane. I think this is one of those weapons that, you know what, looks cooler in the trailer. It's a great, cool weapon in the trailer for Chapter 5 Season 3, but in game, I don't really know. The main thing that makes this weapon so weird is that it shoots heavy bullets. I mean, could they not have just made it shoot like harpoons or something like the harpoon gun does? But no, they made it shoot heavy bullets, and that really is what makes it so weird. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed that goofy video. Let me know in the comment section if you do enjoy this revisitation style video, and, you know, just me kind of talking off the top of my head. Obviously, these videos are not scripted. I'm just talking what's coming from the heart. If you want to enjoy it, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.